Hello and welcome. I'm Dipti Deshpande. This podcast talks about a recent report on behavioral trends in India seen during the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic brought the world to a standstill, but the huge economic costs that followed forced it back on its feet. Learning to live with the virus is becoming a new mantra, even as fear dwells at the back of the mind. Containment is nowhere in sight and economic costs pile up. Fewer government restrictions, better recovery rates, and rising pandemic fatigue are playing a role. In our latest Quickonomics titled Mobility versus Pandemic Fatigue, we saw this phenomenon catch up in India too. People's mobility declined at the first instance of a sharp rise in cases in July, but interestingly, another dip in mobility is not perceptible during the second instance of sharper rise in cases in September. The association of increase in cases to decline in mobility trends seems to have weakened in that month of September. Using the Google COVID-19 Community Mobility Reports as a proxy, we look at state-level mobility data over the past couple of months to understand the conditions under which Indians chose to leash or unleash themselves. This helps us draw further inferences on people mobility in a second wave scenario. To be sure, October and November saw a sharp dip in daily addition to COVID-19 cases in India, but the possibility of a second wave after the festive season lurks. In India, given the sharp hit to incomes, employment, and the economy at large in recent months, livelihood choice appears to have prevailed. Other high-frequency indicators such as fuel consumption, automobile sales, and freight transport, among others, suggest that economic activity has been slowly but steadily picking up post the April to June quarter. Manufacturing overall is picking up somewhat faster, while services, given that majority of them are contact-based, are lagging. This phenomenon, we believe, could continue even in case of a second wave. It also appears that unless the pandemic spins out of control whenever there is a second wave, there may not be very stringent government restrictions and the hit to economic activity may not be as dramatic as earlier. A brief period where fear factor plays spoilsport, however, cannot be ruled out. With this, we come to the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening in. Stay safe.